Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day or taking a quick look here at Algorand. This is a request from one of my community members here, Chef. I believe he asked for me to go ahead and cover this. So again, if you're part of our Discord community, that's a free group, of course. You can just jump on in there into our request section. Feel free to request certain coins that I go ahead and cover those for you. Give you a shout out, the whole 9 yards, kind of a lot of fun. If you do want to become, though, a better trader, I have a trading community, academy, and signals group. Okay, so link down below here for that if you're curious. I just like to mention that because I get a lot of members that are asking about this, so I figure I'd cover it in my videos. We took Solana profit 93% there in about a month. Nice older trade there for Injective, 74%, and then our ZRX short here, roughly 2 days for 64. So really cool trades there. Congrats again to our community members for that. And we got a Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Pick your poison, whichever works best for you. So we're going to talk about Algorand here. What we want to talk about, first of all, is this Elliott wave pattern essentially coming to fruition. In other words, we had our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 higher highs, 2 higher lows. Now we had our lower high and our lower low. We're still looking for our lowest low. Okay, our second and final. Essentially, we're looking for an ABC pattern, and that's basically where we're at here. So what we want to talk about is, first of all, we're going to jump on over to the bigger time frame here, larger time frames. I'm going to pull out a little bit of a support level there potentially. And just note that previously, back in March of 2020, we had a lowest point there as a rough estimate of, it's perfect here, we're looking at about 9.5. We'll just round down, say 9.5. So if we take a look at the current price action here, we can go ahead and see kind of where we're at now. We are averaging ourselves out at that previous low. Okay, so being below this here isn't like super detrimental, but we do need to recognize that that's somewhat of a volume profile resistance, right? So we have a lot of volume at that level. So we need to note that if the price were to come back up, we could and should experience somewhere, between a maybe 6 to 8% increase from the current price action. And if it hits that level, it should initially reject or have some trouble breaking through. Okay. Again, we're on the wrong side of the tracks is basically what this is telling us. Okay. So that's kind of what that looks like here. When it comes to lower low here, we got this most recent low here. We're going to go ahead and note we are coming down to the most recent low. So back in September on the 11th, roughly a month in 5 weeks ago, we saw the price action at that level. We're soon to retest that or trying to do so right now. We also want to look at liquidity here. This is something that gets kind of interesting to me because liquidity is an important thing to recognize and to note. Okay. So first of all, when we got this previous liquidity level, the price action wicked all the way down. You remember August 17th, that crazy sell-off day. Bitcoin dropped like 12% in 5 minutes, some ungodly amount of sell-off. It just took off, right? Took off to the downside. Everything got hit hard. There's still some liquidity left in this lower level here that could be swept, okay? So just know, that basically just implies that there's some long positions here at this level. They want to kind of wipe them out, hit the reset button, and come back up. So a lot of times you'll see the liquidity level swept, and then it comes up again from there, okay? So just know there's still some liquidity left, some meat on the bone here. If we look at RSI, we can see here, just like on the 17th of August, we're getting really close to that 30 on the RSI. Okay? Now, when we bounced here recently, we came closer to about 35, right in that range. But the bottom line here is that the price recovered from there when we had RSI that low level. We do have potential for that to occur again. Okay? Again, previous patterns have a tendency of repeating themselves, but they don't have to. So when we take a look at the RSI, though, you can see some examples when the RSI came well below 30, down to about 15, inevitably recovered. So the truth is here, getting in now could be early. Could still be early if you're considering a long position. If you are considering a long, though, keep in mind, you may want to consider averaging your price down, multiple entries on the way down if it continues to go lower, and obviously take some profits before we hit that resistance at about 9.5. Okay? So just some things to kind of think about. That's kind of the daily there. Let's talk a little bit about the 4-hour in just a minute. We're below all 3 moving averages too. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I understand that. So we are truly bearish on the daily. So no real major indications that we want to just take a long position right now. Okay. But we take a look at 4-hour time frame. This is where things get even more interesting. Or we take a look at the RSI. We're literally at the lowest point on the RSI that we've been since August 17th. Okay. So since this candle wick here caused the price action to go sideways, down and up, we can see that we are right at that same exact level. So hypothetically, are we going to increase from here? Maybe, maybe, yeah. Emphasis on maybe there. But the truth is, when you come overextended like this here on the 4-hour, and you look at TD sequential, we see we hit a 9 here roughly 36 hours ago, there's a strong chance we're going to see a recovery because we are forming it's a likely formation of three black crows. If you're familiar with the three white soldiers, it's essentially three strong green candles in a row, followed by a fourth red day in most cases. Okay, so it's a kind of just a little sign. We look here, 1, 2, 3. What do you know? We got three strong red days here. Could be followed by a fourth green day. Okay, so hypothetically, we could get a bounce here just based on the fact that we've been continuing the same direction for 72 hours. There's an overextension and exhaustion that happens there. How much more of this coin can you sell when you don't have any more left to sell, right? So while the bulls are nowhere in sight, I think there's a decent chance we could see a little rally up to this resistance range at about 9.5. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at there on the 4-hour. But again, by no stretch is this like a bullish sign at all. It's just kind of an overextension play, if you will. And if you're going to do this, again, do not go all in. I only recommend no more than 5 to 10x if you're a newer trader, and just consider averaging your price down if the price continues lower. Don't just go 100% in right now and try to go 100% out at 9.5. It doesn't work that way. You set multiple targets, both to the upside and the down, depending on how you're getting in. Again, these are swing trades I'm referring to. If you're day trading, different story altogether. Go ahead and watch the charts for 8 hours a day. It's up to you. I don't like to do that personally. I like to kind of set it and forget it. So a coin like this would make a lot more sense to consider a long to that range, but take profit along the way. Okay. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and pull up some larger time frame fibs just so we can kind of see roughly where we're at there. Again, we got that 9.5 Fibonacci level at 0.618. Pretty stark reality there. If you're going to consider taking a long here, consider taking some profits just below 0.786 at about 9.1, and then a secondary target at maybe like 9.4. Okay. You never set your targets at exact levels, because those are the ranges in which most people are targeting, and that's oftentimes the way that you do not get filled. So my strategy is just to take a level just below or above a key level support, and to choose that as my target. So that way I ensure, if I'm coming to the downside here, I'll take profit here instead of here. I take profit to the upside, take it here instead of here, right? There's different strategies, but these are all things I teach in my trading academy. If you want to be part of that, of course, link down below. Check that out. But the bottom line here is that I'm expecting a bounce, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it continues lower to sweep that extra low or liquidity level. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at there. On the hourly, last but not least, we'll take a look here. We're definitely going to be well below the cloud. All green lights here to leave your short position open. However, we are coming close to a situation in which we might want to consider closing our short position, just mainly because that momentous downtrend is coming to an end. We're not seeing it come down as far or as strong as it was before. And once again, 72 hours into this overextension, this is complete ridiculousness as far as the just how hard it's bleeding out. So take a look at this here. We overextend ourselves here to a 9, came back down, and we're hitting another 9. So we've hit 2 9s at TD sequential on the 1 hour in the last 72 hours, and we've hit basically 2 as well on the 4-hour time frame. You combine all that together with 3 black rows, there's a decent chance we will see somewhat of a relief rally. It may be a dead cat bounce, but it should happen. Okay. Again, we're coming close to this support level. Just know there's a strong amount of volume at 9.5 that will work as a resistance. So these are all things I kind of like to look at when I take trades. And personally, everyone's got different strategies, but I've been able to survive the market for 20 plus years. Obviously not the entire time in crypto, but truth is you learn a lot in traditional markets. And I used to trade crude oil and natural gas, and I tell you that was an interesting beast. Suffice to say, crypto is much better 24/7. So just make sure that you're careful and cautious with your trades that you take here. But that is my recommendation. I'm going to send out a playout chart, of course, as per usual on my Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. They look a little something like this. So be sure to check that out. And if you could, help us, like, follow, subscribe. Greatly appreciate that, because we did just start our Twitter and our Telegram groups. They're kind of newer, but obviously YouTube been around for a couple of years here. So thanks again so much for the support. Deeply appreciate it. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.